I think you said you wanted to make a Vaseline castle. I think you succeeded.
That's a success.
A decrepit castle, but a castle nonetheless.
It's a Vaseline. We're just fucking thrilled for an audience to see this movie.
I am too, especially after
We've
this.
been, we've been living with this movie for a year, and we just can't wait for other people to see it. This is something. It feels like this great secret.
It's what I like to call it. I call it gladiator cinema. It's like movie versus audience. Just like it's a very explosive
no
film.
one's ever
I think.
seen anything like this before, and I can't wait for the reaction. And I think Sundance is such a great place because people are coming here anticipating anything, open to seeing anything, and that's the best audience that you could ever hope for, because they're absolutely open and willing to seeing something they've never seen before, and that's that's what this kind of movie needs. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
we are.
That's a great thing. You get a groundswell of people.
We all make movies. Like, honestly, what's great about this is that we just make movies that we want to watch.
Very selfish.
Yeah, it's selfish. But the flip side is that it's unselfish because you're approaching filmmakers and say, hey, you know that passion project that no one else wants to do? Like, and it's how hard it is doing it alone? We're going to get on your side. We're going to jump on your team.
For me, the main thing was to make something that felt really totally different to anything else out there, and was like, really shaking things up a bit. I mean, I find a lot of films to be sort of formulaic and predictable, and I just wanted to make something that just defied any kind of easy categorization and would just surprise people and confound them, and that even if they felt like maybe it wasn't necessarily their kind of thing, that they'd still feel like invigorated by it, Mm-hmm. That's what I want. When I go and see something, I just want to have a genuine connection with a film where somebody's really expressing something of themselves, and it's like, it's like a true vision of something. So that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. I'm getting quite emotional.
I can tell. I can tell. It's palpable. I'm tearing up.
The three of us started Spectre Vision for a few reasons, but one of them was very particularly to try and support films, as Waller said, that probably wouldn't exist if we didn't get behind them. And that, in many ways, came out of just our own frustrations, because the three of us, in addition to producers, are also, talent of rarely finding producers that would have like a heart or a gut response without a thought of the financial aspects of it. And so, we have sort of a pact with each other that if something moved, hello.
Hey, it's Greasy. Watch out. Watch out.
I need this. If something moves us, we engage, without any thought of how it'll impact in the market, and we figure that stuff out later. And I think the result is that you get movies like The Greasy Strangler, which I feel, I'm not prone to hyperbole. I don't think any movie even remotely like it has ever existed. It's a particular combination of elements.
And that's a good transition, because didn't you describe it as fucked up? I think.
I think I've used many adjectives to describe.
No,
this
there
movie.
were. It was fucked up, disturbing, gross. A lot of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and deeply hilarious.
Yeah, that's on the list
And
too.
strangely touching, I would say.
Yeah, it is.
Surprisingly
It's actually
touching.
quite emotional.
Yeah.
It's many things. But I think, I don't know, this movie represents also, in the purest sense, why it is that we do what we want to do, which is to support something that is pure and visionary and unlike anything else. The reason that he wanted to make this movie in that way, that sense of seeing something that you've never seen before, that sometimes you may even hate it, but you've had a really strong reaction to it. Something that elicits that kind of strong reaction is what moves us, and what moves us in regards to cinema. And those are the things that we want to get behind. And this is a movie that represented all of those things, and we happen to completely love it.
I don't know if you can even express this, but what do you hope audiences take away?
I don't know. I feel like it's such a hard thing to say. I would just want people to just be surprised and excited by it, and just sort of, when you go and see a film, and you might have not seen a film that you've really got off on for a while, and you might sort of think like, God, I'm sort of getting a bit bored with movies, like maybe I'll go for a walk instead or something. Like, I'd like someone to see this and then to sort of be excited again about pursuing an idea that they might have thought was too strange or too, You know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
That's
That's what I get off on. Like, I get off on seeing stuff where I think, fuck, I forgot that you could do that, you know?
We were actually talking about this morning. I was trying to give him a compliment, and he would not accept it. I was just talking. It's a real relief. It's been a relief for us as producers to work with directors that have such a clear vision for what they want. And you know, sometimes producers try to implement their own creative ideas into like stories and films. And this was one of those cases where, like, even when we were shooting, I would have like an urge to give Jim like a suggestion, and I was like, he's not gonna like it. It's but in a good way, meaning that because like we don't know what's in his head. You know, we don't necessarily need to. Exactly. But we will see what's in his head when the movie's done. And so there's a real
Yeah, that's
Do you have something to add?
just to trust that process. I think, you know, we started our company in some ways to be the producers that we always had hoped for, right?
Yeah.
So the kind of producers that would just support us and protect us from anybody on the outside that would want to infringe upon the vision that we have. That's what we want to be. So that being that, embodying that, means also in those moments where you might have an impulse to sort of have a note, to trust the filmmaker and to know that they've got something in their head that we can't see in that moment, but that we're going to be moved by or surprised by or whatever it is down the road. And I think that's really important.
It's interesting that, you know, Jim's saying that the films that he wants, that he connects with, are the ones where he really sees a particular vision, and that's kind of what we all saw in him through his shorts that like our producing partners, Ant Timpson and you know, Tim League and everybody had shared with us.
Yeah.
And we just thought, like, God, wouldn't it be cool of us all to get together and help Jim make his first feature? And we also thought, because the film is so, the script was so bizarre, but hysterical. I mean, throughout. It was so unique. We were like, God, I feel like we kind of all have to band together and make this, because this film might not get made if we don't, because it was so unique. And that's exciting. And I think that's also part of the reason why it's exciting to have it here at Sundance, because they tend to recognize that as well.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about Sundance. You can sort of take those risks, and otherwise we honestly really wouldn't see those things. It's tough to get money behind it.
Just excited for this.
Well, congratulations. You actually did a fantastic job with that. Guys, thank you so much for coming in. I didn't know if you were, I was going for that handshake. He was like, take the mic. Take care.